It's yet another weekend, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to another edition of StandPoint. I am Dakbo Arua Joye. And let me quickly welcome the number one citizen of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, back and to the country. I wish him a total recovery. It's no longer news that the Nigerian economy needs an urgent physician, and it's already gasping for breath. And if nothing is done urgently, the burden will be seriously felt by the citizens. In an attempt to bring the economy back to life, the Federal Executive Council approved an economic recovery and growth plan last Tuesday. The Budget and Planning Minister Udo Udoma said that some parts of the plan will still be fine-tuned while final consultations will be made with Labour. In this attempt, the government disclosed its plans to privatize some public enterprises and assets. So today in the studio, we'll be looking at issues surrounding these budget recovery plan by the federal government. Is it feasible? My name is Dakbo Arua Joye. When we return from the break, I will introduce my guest. Stay tuned. So, welcome back. And in the studio today, I have Honorable Rotimi Olowo, a member at Lagos State House of Assembly, and is the chairman of the Committee on Budget and Economic Planning. Thank you very much for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Good afternoon.
Yes, budget and economic planning. So, you're the best person there today to discuss this with us. You see, I said that the economy needs intervention, urgent intervention, and the government really has come up with a whole lot, like especially this economic recovery and growth plan. Let me just get your general view about this plan. Really, what do you think it will achieve?
Thank you very much. It is high time we had it because, like, for the past 2 years, everybody has been asking what the Buhari-led government has been doing, and been one of the strong supporter of the government, because I believe if there are issues, there's economic recession in Nigeria today, and basically it has to do with the fact that it's a technical term that we use for economy that is in distress. When you talk about gross domestic product, it's on a decline for 2 consecutive years. And what you need to do is first to look at the trajectory that led you into that. It has to be studied holistically, because economy is the mainstay of any nation. If the economy is doing well, obviously the nation will feed well, and the welfare will be total for the citizenry. In 2015, when they came on board, there are issues, and basically all the indicators are not positive. It's showing doom for Nigeria. You talk about the price of crude in the international market, it was on the downward decline. When you look at the price of crude and the output in Nigeria, you will appreciate the fact that Nigeria was in for a very hard time. When you look at all other things, we are importing refined products, and this actually affected our foreign reserve, because you need the backup in form of foreign reserve before you can talk about embarking on importation without matching it with export. Then we have balance of payment deficit. Obviously, because of that, the nation has suffered a lot of setback. You talk about infrastructure deficit, you talk about the need for us to quickly come back to our senses and see what we can do differently that will change the course of the nation. And there's no two ways about it than for us now to look inward. Firstly, at ensuring that we protect the industries against external invasion. What I mean is that we should be able to nip in the bud our unbridled taste for foreign goods to the detriment of our local industries. Hence, we need to probably talk about reducing import, promoting export, so that we can balance the trade. And the net balance will be positive if we're able to reduce even our consumption of refined products. If we are going to,
but I heard at the end of the day there will be an increase, in tax of luxury goods also. That is a welcome development.
Yes, obviously it's part of the plan. The plan basically didn't just start. That plan is a medium-term plan between 2017 to 2020. Prior to that, there's what we call strategic implementation plan, as included in the 2016 budget. an area where we supposed to bring the poor close to the rich is by taxing the rich heavily. No poor man will go for any luxury goods.
Yes.
If you have a jet, then you should be able to pay for it very well, because before you can buy a jet, you need to talk about maintenance, and you need to talk about all other things. World over, for equalization, to bring the poor close to the rich, then we need to tax the rich very well, so that we can use the money to take care of the poor. Well, you said luxury products, not just any goods, luxury goods. If you are buying any armored vehicle that was about 100 million naira, you are welcome. Yes. But it has to be really taxed from 5% to 15%.
So you think about it, you think well if you are really going to purchase the goods or not.
Because that is not the priority now. Yes. And one of the problems Nigeria is facing world over has to do with the way we display wealth with impunity. And it's not Nigeria today. We're supposed to have what we call sober reflection. We need to look inward and see what we can do. But to go back to your question, basically yes. It has to do with the fact that it is high time we did that. Economic recovery, first thing is in distress. You have to bring it back on recovery part. And what you need to do about that is basically to diversify our economy.
Okay, but before then, really, before we go to diversification, let's look at this, the injection of dollar into the exchange, into the interbank, and let's get to look at, of course, of recent, 100 million was injected, and so far they said in 2 weeks, 1.14 billion dollars have been injected into the interbank market. Do you think, because now dollar considerably has gone down and naira has appreciated, do you think this trend will continue and we're going to get maybe like to a dollar, a naira to a dollar could be 300 and something in a few weeks? Do you think so?
Yes, it can be sustained if only we are very, very serious with what I've just talked about. We need to reduce the importation of refined products. According to the plan, by 2018, we would have reduced by 60%. We need to work on the 4 refineries. Left to me, if that plan is going to be implemented to the fullest without fear or favor, I want the 4 refineries to be privatized for obvious reason. Okay. There's a lot of leakages and they are not set up to help this nation. The production is going down. It's a pipeline to siphon hard-earned money by Nigerians. If that is done, and we reduce importation of other goods, or we tax them heavily, especially the one that we have alternative for locally, and we export more, that means we have a positive balance of payment rather than the deficit. When we export more, we import less, then we're able to reduce. Chunk of our reserve is going to for the importation of petroleum products. Yes. And basically that's the reason that we have a toll on our naira. Obviously, because we don't have backup in form of foreign reserves. The naira has to be depreciated. You know, we are operating with other nations of the world, and we are not immune to all other victories and all those international politics. But if we do that, we can sustain that. Then the rent seekers. There's a lot of exploitation in the banking industry between some bankers and some their cohorts. They are trading in foreign exchange to exploit Nigerians. Basically, the exchange of naira to dollar is not a true reflection of our economy. Nigerian economy is not that bad. That dollar is going as high as 500 naira.
But I was going to ask you a question, really, because when you talk about there's hanky-pankies going on somewhere, maybe do we have principalities and powers near affecting our dollar? Because you remember this gentleman, Badamosi, that was of recent said that some Nigerians exchange maybe some cobbles
for naira. It's backdated to about 20. Yes, no, we just add on the pages of newspaper.
Can you continue with that thought? Can you hold that thought? Because I need to go on the short break. When we'll come back, we'll just resume with that. Stay with us, please. Welcome back. You're still watching StandPoint. And in the studio, I still have Honorable Olowo of the Lagos State House of Assembly, and he's also the chairman of Committee on Budget and Economic Planning. Thank you very much for staying with us. Okay, the question I asked, then let me rephrase it. Because there are speculations, there are speculations that there are people behind these increase in dollar. And you were going to say something. Can you continue with that? And I ask you, the Badamosi man that was arrested of recent, was it being truthful?
My take is that CBN has not come out to either refute that allegation or confirm it. But the fact of the matter is that if there are no, how can I put it? If you don't have some people behind the curtains manipulating naira against dollars, obviously it will not be that high. As I was saying that Nigeria economy was not that bad that naira would have been battered to that level.
I tell you.
Some people are trading with dollars, and today, one of the officials was said to have eaten about $9.3 million. It's just one out of thousands.
Yeah.
A lot of them are trading dollars. They're not doing that business. And the fact of the matter today is that with that intervention, within a week.
And you were going to say something. Can you continue with that? And
Yeah.
I ask you, the Gbadamosi man that was arrested of recent, was it being truthful?
My take is that CBN has not come out to either refute that allegation or confirm it. But the fact of the matter is that if there are no, how can I put it? If you don't have some people behind the curtains manipulating naira against dollars, obviously it will not be that high. As I was saying that Nigeria economy was not that bad that naira would have been battered to that level. I tell you. Some people are trading with dollars. And today, one of the officials was said to have eaten about $9.3 million. It's just one out of thousands. Yeah. A lot of them are trading dollars. They're not doing that business. And the fact of the matter today is that with that intervention, within a week, naira gained over 100 naira to dollar. What is the meaning of that? That means for those that are eating dollars, that are selling dollars, they are now pouring it out. We have a lot of Nigerians that are just rent seekers. They want to exploit the system to amass wealth. And the only way we can abate or nip that in the bud is only if we are serious with our economy. If we import less, we sell more, we reduce our importation of refined products. We have many modular refineries in Nigeria today. Yes. In the Niger Delta, those guys are fighting because they don't have sense of belonging. Many of them have what it takes. They have the money. Government should bring them into the fold, support them, let there be environmental impact analysis of whatever they are doing, look at it from point of safety and security. After that, let there be a sustained supply chain and support them. When we have all those modular refineries scattered around Nigeria, that will complement what those 4 glorified depots, they call refineries today, are doing. So that will reduce our importation of refined products.
So you are echoing what the Vice President said of recent. Even the ones, the refineries, the modular refineries, the illegal refineries will be converted into modular refineries. You support that also? I'm
supporting it because, number one, I can live in a state where our means of existence has been actually polluted. Everything they have has been polluted, and there's no any semblance of government presence, no good road, no good accommodation. People cannot go back to farm. They have pauperized their life. Yes. And the children, rather than taken to arms, devised a ingenious means of surviving. But that is now being threatened. Obviously, they fight back. If you draw an animal, even snake, to the wall, it fight back. My take is that support them. Organize them.
But the moves of recent by the Vice President, it seems I love it. Peace.
You see, the man didn't go there to sympathize with them. He empathized. I use the word empathy because he has shared in their pains, in what they've been going through for the past 40 years, 50 years. And it will only make sense that, to whom more is given, more is expected. If bulk of 94% of our foreign earnings is from the sale of crude, 94%. Although production of crude is just 10% of our GDP, but 94% of our foreign earnings is from the sale of crude. And what that means that chunk of our foreign reserve is basically based on crude exportation. So they need to now have something for that. If today the likes of Shell are being summoned to clean the area, and even there's a committee set up to look into that. Till tomorrow, they are still at teaching level. Nothing great has been done. Let these people to be part of the cake. Let them share part of the cake. If you have young guys that have all it takes, and they've been doing that at miniature level, support them, secure the supply chain, support them in terms of experts and technology, and let them be part of it. And you see that there'll be permanent peace in the Niger Delta, and that will be in consonance with the spirit of that plan you call ERGP, because we want by 2020 we want to increase oil production to
2.5 million.
2.5 million that is predicated on peace.
So-
if
so-
there's no peace, that cannot be achieved.
Because as at now, we are doing 2.2 million barrels per day.
Yeah.
And you think we will make 2.5 million now?
Obviously, at the time, Nigeria was
5
at
million
2.4.
barrels.
Nigeria was at 2.4, and we still have a lot of our partners that are still coming in. We are not just talking about four refineries. This one is just refining. We have in the upstream sector a lot of partners. Nigeria crude is adjudged to be the best, but that is not the only solution. We have a lot of threats to even crude world over. Ethanol is produced by Brazil, and today it's cheaper and it's more environment friendly. Again, you appreciate the fact that we have shale oil. America is the largest consumption of crude in the world, but today they are producing shale. It could not be a problem. About 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago, we learned that our trade relationship with China has moved from 2nd to 4th in Africa. We are moving from the west, we are going to the east, and east is not even giving all this desired attention.
I was going to ask, what about the last time? Because they said the China currency now to Nigeria, I thought it was 30-something naira, I've forgotten.
I wouldn't know, because I basically,
What have we gained from that relationship?
The relationship, to me, it is not a relationship. It's more of cosmetics. Probably some people, they have their own pecuniary interests, and that's the reason why we're not coming out to talk about transfer of technology. You cannot say China is coming to Africa, and China is bringing its own people. How have you transferred economy? If this China is supporting us, giving us loan at a better international rate, and at the end of the day, we have not seen meaningful development, then we need to review that relationship. I expected China to bring their industries down here. Then we have foreign quotas. Then only expertise that Nigeria do not have, or we don't have Nigerians that have such expertise. That's the only where they will come in. If Nigerians are available and they have the same knowledge, the wherewithal, the same capacity, then Nigerians should be able to be part of that relationship, and at the end of the day, we transfer technology. But today, they're just heaping their goods on us, bring their people in thousands. And that is creating unemployment the more. So we need to sit down and look at what is good for us as a nation.
So most of these construction sites, construction companies owned by China, they bring their people to work here.
There was a time we were on oversight function. Somewhere around Ibejuleki, I saw a Chinese man driving a truck. Are we saying we don't have Nigerians that can drive truck? I was really mad. And those are the things we are talking about. Even we have institutional and systemic problem in Nigeria. Where are they coming in from? Who checks them? The immigration, the custom.
Are they paying? Are they paying tax? Are they paying anything?
Some of them will.
Do they have work permits?
Those are the problems. Then how do they find their levels into the country? We're not saying that Nigeria economy should not be open, because we need more of this to come in. But we need more industries to be established in Nigeria, not more foreigners coming to Nigeria. We have a lot of Nigerians that the rate of underemployment is about 10%. Unemployment is over 20% now. That means we have a lot of capable Nigerians that are not working. Why do we still have to be inviting people in when we know that it's going to impede on the employment rate of our people? If it's going to support employment and a lot of Nigerians will be well employed, then I'll be in support. Let them bring their industries.
And when you employ most Nigerians, you get enough back into the coffers of the government because they pay their tax.
They pay their tax, and there will be no flights, capital flights. Because all this, when you pay them, obviously, because they are international employees, you pay them in dollars. At the end of the day, they take that money out of this country. It's not helping the economy. And again, part of the economic plan, which I really cherish, is what we call inclusive development, where the local government, in that statement, they have not actually included local government. What I want is a situation where local government will be involved in that development. The state, the local government, and the federal government need to work in collaboration at ensuring that we have sustainable development.
That's like true federalism you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm talking about true federalism, because we have 3 tiers of government, and basically they have different functions, and they have some degrees of autonomy. In developed countries, I just came back from UK, and we have a lot of housing projects going on around Woolwich, around Tasman, being built by local government.
The counties.
Can our state build? Many states, apart from Lagos and some few states, can they embark on massive housing projects just like Lagos State? Because they don't have the wherewithal. The Pension Act supposed to be modified in such a manner that whatever is accrued to us from pension, I left all industry since 2016. I've not been able to have my pension since then, because there is a law that guides that. what percentage are they giving me? What use have they put the money? If you have injected that money into housing project, a lot of Nigerians, because we have about 7 million housing deficits. In Lagos now, we are doing a rent to own. How many states can do that? Can even federal government do that? But we need collaboration, and that's why I said at state level, at local government level, there must be collaboration, because the real development takes place at local level. But when local government is not part of that arrangement, then it's still missing.
Okay.
You cannot impose things on people. They must have ownership. They must be able to say, this is what we need. Their aspiration must be met as against imposing things on them.
When you talked about collaboration and even the making having a friendly environment for business, we're talking about collaboration. Let me go to that collaboration part of it. There's a rift. I'm not digressing. There's a rift or presumed rift between the present governor and the Minister of State, Minister of Works and Housing. That's the former governor of Lagos State. Do you think this rift won't affect collaboration? Because we're looking at, still talking about economy, we're looking at Lagos, I mean, the road from the airport to Oshodi. That is a very, very crucial road. What do you think will happen now?
Yes, I read over the newspaper, and I read as well the response of the Minister of Works, Power and Housing. I just want to beg the two of them to share their sword. Whatever their personal differences, they should please look at Lagos as first. Lagos as first, because without Lagos, there have been Nigeria 66 or thereabout of economic activities take place in Lagos. And world over, I was in Istanbul. Before, when I left UK, I went to Istanbul. When I got in there, I saw it dwarfed Paris, it dwarfed UK. I saw it, I said, these Arabs, they've gone. Because when you look at infrastructure at its best, you see how those people were able to transform and that's not the capital, it's just the economic capital of Turkey. Ankara is the capital of Turkey. Just like Lagos is the same. Lagos is the first point of call. 80% or 88% of international tourists or businessmen will first come to Lagos. And it is what they meet from the road, from the infrastructure, that will now tell them, oh, whether we can do things here or not.
And MMM is, Muritala Mohammed Airport is about the first place they will get to first.
Obviously, yes. You don't go to, you go to Abuja just for administrative purposes. When we are talking about real business, the first point of call is Lagos, obviously, yes. Because number one, Lagos is the heartbeat of Nigeria, and everything that connotes development is supposed to start from Lagos. I am not saying because I'm representing a constituency in Lagos, but let's say the fact that from the airport, before you get to Oshodi, it's appalling.
Yes, it is.
It is not well lit, the road has failed, and there's nothing we can do than to have a massive road reconstruction. I want all the people that are supposed to saddle with that responsibility, whether at state or at federal level, to please share their sword, come together, let them reason together. Whatever their differences is going to be just be a face in their lives. They are going to summon it through understanding and maturity. I'm begging the two of them. But the obvious fact is that, yes, federal government is going Lagos about 50 billion naira. But that will not deter Lagos from doing what is needful, because we are craving for or asking for direct foreign investment. And when they come in, they see that the state of our roads is in bad shape. They see that the roads is not well lit. When they come in, they have the fear, morbid fear that,
where are we going?
Where are we going? What can we do here in this village, in this dark area? And everywhere is lit over the world now. And America, Asia, Europe will not wait for Africa. That's the fact. So the governor has said the obvious, that we need support from federal government. Whosoever has been there that has been frustrating, please let them just come together, close ranks, and let them talk together as one. The governor is from Lagos, the former governor is from Lagos, the current governor is from Lagos, and Lagos is ours. We cannot compromise Lagos. I'm just begging of them. But beyond that, we have a lot of things we still need to do. We are talking about national industrialization plan. We are not serious with that. I'll be frank with you. The likes of Pachitomi, I respect him a lot. He came at the time with a model which I fancy a lot, and I think Nigerians will just have a whole and sink into
industrialization.
Industrialization. He came with a model on industrialization, and that is what I think Nigerians should do. We can use SWOT analysis to determine that.
Can you share the model with us?
The model is that they are going to be like a concentric industrialization area, irrespective of whatever in the country, where we see it as industrialization hub. A lot of companies, a lot of activities will be taking place, a lot of industry will be there. Then we are going to have transportation infrastructure that will make it easy, feasible for people to live there and people to be commuted from their point of business to their point of residence. And when it came up with that, you can say, okay, for example, between Ibadan and Lagos, we have a lot of land that they are still lying fallow that we can come up, probably about 100 hectares. When we have industrial hub, a lot of people
and we're looking at railway construction between Lagos
and Kano.
And Kano and even Lagos and Ibadan corridor.
Yes.
So it's when you have such facility there, you could have been. It will be easy to even have industrialization.
You will have a IPP, a sort of something similar to IPP there. They generate their electricity. There. They have massive houses there that will take care of the workers. You can afford to leave your family in Lagos, to leave your family in Ibadan, and at the end of the weekend you come over. And it's not only to be in Lagos, Ibadan alone. It's going to be all over the country based on the comparative advantage of each region. Or in Lagos, Ibadan alone. It's going to be all over the country based on the comparative advantage of each region or each state. If Lagos can give us more fish, at least cost, because Lagos is surrounded by water. Lagos is is an island.
Yes.
Let us up in that. Let us harness it. Let us support Lagos in that direction. If Lagos has the best beaches, lagoons, seas, and they have the best draft, let Lagos be made the international route in terms of bringing products here and tourism.
Yes, and tourism.
If Kaduna or Kano is going to be where we get our groundnut
or leather,
let's give them all the necessary support. Then each state will now have their own economic strength.
Maybe like rice in Abakaliki, Ekiti also has rice. Also,
yes, or your Osun State, for example. Then we talk about food security. If each state performs and support it according to their economic advantage over the other, and we're able to galvanize it and support it and give it a holistic arrangement in such a manner that there is value chain for their activities, then Nigeria will get out of the
just like the initiative of the Lagos State government and the Kebbi State government, the lake rice.
Yes, Kebbi produces, Lagos eats. It's something you look for the market and then you look for the producer. Obviously, it's going to be mutually beneficial. Kebbi will be selling, and Lagos will be feeding its people at a very least cost. In December, when normally the price of things go up.
Yes.
Unfortunately, some of those rent seekers, I call exploiters, wanted to exploit around December. They never knew that Lagos was coming up with such a program. Some of them were selling rice as high as 22,000, then 24,000. Then immediately the rice came in and we pegged it at 12,000 per bag. Some of them, their price came as low as 14,000.
Wow.
That means we were able to nip in the bud all the activity of those rent seekers. If we can do that, there will be collaboration, there will be competition, healthy competition among the regions. There will be understanding. Let there be improved transportation infrastructures that will cover the whole country. It's going to be holistic. We are not going to impeach that basically first on sentiment, political sentiment, but on economic reasons.
Yes.
The rationale is that if Abakaliki is producing rice that will feed the whole nation, why can't we see how we are going to support the transportation infrastructure, be it rail, be it road, that will be able to facilitate the movement of the goods from the farm to the market. Then we can as well have what we call a body that will be able to certify the quantity in such a manner, the quantity, the price, and the quality. Like those boards they used to have before. Each state has its own board that will be able to regulate the activities of sellers and buyers.
Yes.
If we have that and we have enough of food, people will not even try to exploit. And then we have net export. At the end of the day, when we export more, we import less, then Nigeria will be comfortable. Then we are making a mistake again. And I want to say this, if we have some of the federal government functionaries that are saddled with the responsibility of checking what the market price and the quantity, what we have been taking as a nation for the past maybe 1 year, 2 years of rice. You cannot just say if what the market is saying, hypothetically, maybe you are producing 10. then Nigeria is 24. There is going to be a vacuum of 14.
Yes.
In the interim, before we get to that 14, let them be importing the rice until we're able to meet the demand of Nigerians, surpass it, and we export. But when you stop it, it will lead to smuggling, and it will lead to exploitation. Wonderful. And that's the reason why I said, go to the Bureau of Statistics. Let us have the take of what Nigeria has been eating for the past 2-3 years. Let's do the average, and let's look at the total production of rice in Nigeria. Then if you are not meeting the demand in the interim, let us allow the import. Pending the time we're able to meet the demand. Wonderful. And surpass it. Otherwise, if we don't do that, it will lead to smuggling. And when those people smuggle and they know that there's still a vacuum between demand and supply, they will want to bridge that gap at a very higher rate, and that is not too good for Nigerians.
And you're talking about statistics. Hopefully, the Bureau of Statistics will get that information you're talking about. We need to go on yet another short break, and when we'll come back, the discussion continues. And by then, we will introduce your calls. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're still watching StandPoint, and I still have Honorable Rotimi Olowo of the Lagos State House of Assembly. Like they knew what you were saying before we went on break, when we were talking about the smuggled in rice and everything. They played that promo, that the interview we had with the Comptroller General of Customs, where the senators are not happy that what is happening. And we were discussing during the break. You were saying the customs really does not even have right to, because to them, they look like accomplices. You allowed rice to sneak into the country, and after then, I don't understand. Do you want to build on that?
Obviously, yes. Where was the custom personnel? Did they conjure that rice to the warehouse, or it was moved to trucks? Who allowed them? Who cleared them? And it has gotten to the warehouse. I don't think they have every right to recall it, because it passed through their borders. And they were not sleeping. They mount their borders 24/7. Yes. Obviously, one of them or some of the members of the customers have done that. They never look inward to check who perpetrated that crime, who abetted that crime. All they're now saying that whosoever must have done that and gotten cleared or gotten to move should be allowed to sell his products. You cannot really make life unbearable for people. Somebody, whether it's smuggled in, where were you when the product was coming in?
It's your job to prevent smuggling.
The Senate will not be happy with custom, and if care is not taken, they should summon the controller of the custom. The accomplices should be identified and be brought to book. My take is that, the same detail we are talking about, some people, they imported tires. How did the tire get to Nigeria, into the warehouse before you now started showing showing to us that we caught them, they are pre-used tires they brought. How did they get into Nigeria? Were they not subjected to checks?
In containers.
And scrutiny? Were they not scrutinized? Were not subject to checks? I think the leadership of the custom should be brought to book and questioned. But like I said, behind the door, I don't know, even if it's constitutional for anybody to be the controller of custom, we are talking about experience over time. You cannot put round peg in a very square hole. It will not just gel. A retired colonel in the army will not have any knowledge, any experience when it comes to issues about us on custom and immigration. Obviously, yes, we have some deputy controller general, and we have some good custom officers over time that they are just to be the best. Why can't we look for one of them to manage? Just somebody that left the army, that spent about 35 years, retired colonel in the army, and I tell him, I'm very sorry, I am not saying that the man is not an impeccable man when it comes to character, but I'm talking about experience. You cannot match experience. Obviously, Yoruba will say, he will know all those leakages and be able to nip it in bud. You are just bringing agree on to that enviable position. He can even be frustrated.
And these leakages, they're killing the economy, because if you allow goods to come into this country unchecked, that means we are not serious about facing the economy.
Obviously, yes. Smuggling, it will kill your economy, because it will not allow infant industries or local industries to thrive. Because when they bring it in, they smuggle it in, they will sell at a cheaper rate, And also, when cost of production is on the increase in Nigeria,
Yes.
you know the price of crude, of diesel today, and you know all other attendant issues, challenges, challenge that borders on, you have to create your own water for yourself, you have to get your own security for yourself, you have to have your own trucks for yourself. The roads are bad. You cannot move from one end to another, maybe a 300-kilometer road without vehicles breaking down. All those, when you add them into the cost of production, obviously imported or smuggled products will be cheaper. And the more that is cheaper, number one, your GDP will be on the decline. And that's why we are that's one of the reasons why they say Nigeria is in an economic recession. When the local ones cannot produce because they cannot match the price of the smuggled ones, they will not produce. And when they don't produce, the gross domestic product that's the total production in Nigeria being captured by a Bureau of Statistics. And if it's on in decline for 2 consecutive years, you are in economic recession. So if custom is abetting and are now coming on the roads to be looking for smugglers, then there should be more problems for Nigeria, because 1 out of 1,000, even for those, maybe they have bargain. I'm only saying maybe they have bargain. Or they have their arrangement, and maybe the other party didn't meet any aspect of the arrangement. That's why they won't have time. Obviously, there must have been an arrangement. Otherwise, where were you?
Because
when those trucks came in?
661 pump action
Yes.
were recovered on the streets of Lagos.
Yes.
They have left the port already.
Yes.
It's so dangerous.
It was a takeoff, and after the takeoff, there was a tip-off. Maybe because there was a breakdown in the bargaining. That
is where I came. That is why I came in with that. Really,
Yes.
Maybe that was why we could recover that. Though the guns have been given to DSS now, maybe that's why we could. That means a whole lot are coming into this country. And when we talk about a made in Nigeria product, and you're telling me a young man in Aba that is making a sandal, and you looked at the cost of making this sandal. Maybe at the end of the day, the sandal will go to maybe like 2,000, everything, the cost and everything. And it's easy to smuggle in at a cheaper rate from China.
But again,
so how do we revive
that is telling a lot of things. Number one, Nigeria borders is porous.
Yes.
And we need to be serious about it. Our customs should be put on the spot for probably for restructuring or the likes like that, to make them wake up and to make them appreciate the fact that Nigeria is going through hell. And the more we abet smuggling, the more their economy nosedive. How to get out of the doldrums is not far-fetched. The banking sector, I'm talking about sustainable monetary and fiscal policy. It must be consistent. It must be sustainable. It must be able to meet the yearnings and aspirations of Nigerians. And the first thing that comes into play is basically when you talk about the interest rate. Okay. It plays a major role that if interest rate today is about 25%, that means for every quarter of the money you borrow, you have to pay back. And as interest, so not even the principal.
If you borrow 1 million, you have to pay 250,000.
That is the interest. The capital is still there. That means you have to pay 1,250,000. That means you have to do business that you're able to have that money 3 times, about 3 million, because other expenses will come in. That's number one. There's supposed to be a single-digit interest rate as what is applicable in other
like say 7, 9?
7, 9. Then it has to be even be structured based on the critical importance of those sectors.
So like if you're going for farming, they should just give you money straight.
Give you, maybe they amortize it for a long time, because you know farming is a long-term venture that you cannot just go into it then you reap it tomorrow. It will be a long-term investment. Then the support and the banking sector is supposed to be structured to do conventional banking. What they are doing in banking sector is more of exploiting, stealing from people. When you, apart from interest rate, you see some stupid charges, obnoxious charges. They call it cash handling charges. They call it POS charges. They call different names with a view to extorting and exploiting from mass of Nigerians. And federal government is now mandating Nigerians to go into bank to save their money there, but you are not giving them incentive to save. No. But rather, there is incentive through exploitation by the banks, and Nigerians will not want to save because the interest being charged is greater than the profit they are getting. Then again, they are not doing what they're supposed to do. I was somewhere and my friend told me, oh, Rotimi, do you know that if I've used this car for 2 years, I can take it back and tell them I need another car. I just pay
Yes.
somebody. And they go, we do project financing,
Yes.
lease financing. Even you want to a product, you want to purchase finance, anything you want to buy, it is financed by them. And that's why they make their money. And it is structured. What is mortgage bank doing today? And when we have deficit of about 7 million, all different names, with a view to extorting and exploiting from mass of Nigerians. And federal government is now mandating Nigerians to go into bank to save their money there, but you are not giving them incentive to save.
No.
But rather, there is incentive through exploitation by the banks, and Nigerians will not want to save because the interest being charged is greater than the profit they are getting. Then again, they are not doing what they're supposed to do. I was somewhere and my friend told me, oh, Rotimi, do you know that if I've used this car for 2 years, I can take it back and tell them I need another car. I just pay somebody. And they go, we do project financing,
Yes.
lease financing. Even you want to a product, you want to purchase finance, anything you want to buy, it is financed by them. And that's why they make their money. And it is structured. What is mortgage bank doing today? And when we have deficit of about 7 million housing units, what is mortgage bank doing? How is it structured? Who monitors it?
Yeah, we still have mortgage banks.
We still have mortgage banks. It's moribund. They are there, fumbling and wombling because nobody is looking at that area. That would have been so important and relevant to our housing delivery. Because at state level, at local government level, at federal government level, let some money be pumped into it. And that's what federal government said. We are going to revise that with about 500 billion naira.
Yes.
From 50 billion to 500 billion. Then what you need to do is that local government, state government, federal government sit down in collaboration. Look at the areas that require housing units. Look at the location, do the feasibility study, support the state, support the local government. And what you need to do is that you now mortgage those facilities for about 25, 30 years. As you are paying, they are redeeming part of the indebtedness.
Yes.
And before you know it, a lot of Nigerians will have houses. How many people in Europe, in America, actually build houses? It is through that arrangement.
Yes.
What is Bank of Industry doing? That they cannot support industrialization by giving the industry. Man is dying in Nigeria. Manufacturer Association of Nigeria, they are dying. They are not supporting them.
Because
give them a single-digit interest rate.
Because the environment is not friendly, isn't it?
Because federal government is not helping them. It's not making it friendly. And they need to structure. A fiscal policy is anti-development. You give to industries that will absorb more people, they employ more people, they produce. When they produce, when they employ people, they give them money, they spread prosperity. That is basically what we need. Government cannot do it. Government alone cannot employ.
And when they spread prosperity, even the government will prosper.
Yes, because they will tax those prosperity, and it comes for further development of the nation. But it's missing. There's a missing link between industrialization and our policies. The policy is not supporting industrialization in the real sense of it. I'd expected how you structure that federal industrial bank in such a manner that it will. We have track record of producers, indigenous producers here. It's not that when you give the money, you give it to some briefcase businessmen, people that have been trusted like those industries. People that over time, a lot of industrialists that approve their metal over time, support them. Give them a single and even give them tax holiday. Over time, in the next 4 or 5 years, they come back and ensure that you protect them through aggressive taxation or import rate on the substitutes.
Yes.
You tax it so heavily that it will discourage people to import it. So they will now thrive. A lot of Nigerians will buy from them. They will expand, and many Nigerians will be employed. And that means Nigeria will get.
What do you think, briefly, what do you think about this review or possible removal of ban on 41 goods and services?
Actually, I've not taken my time to look at those 41 items. But my take is that whatever the items, if you have local alternative, or if it has nothing to do with machineries and tools that will aid further further industrialization of Nigeria, I will be in support. If there to be rice, I will not be in the support in the interim, because I believe that what we have produced locally has not met the need of our people. Over time, that can be done. But if there are other factors like toothpick that everybody can do, then I will support it. If it is machineries and technology that will support industrialization, I'll be against it. Even in the interim, if you have some industrialists that want to import machineries and they've they fill all the necessary forms, and they've gone to inspect and investigate, and they know it's true. I'm saying they're supposed to reduce even the importation tax on them.
Yes.
Yes, because it will allow for industrialization, and it will allow for more employment.
And they should have even access to dollar at the exchange, bank exchange rate.
My take is that will now be subject to whether government is sincere about that. At the time, we heard about what the guy said, that maybe some were exchanged at 4 naira,
yes,
while some were about 4 ransom. CBN has not come to refute that. So yes, I've said there's an element of truth in that. There's an element of truth in that. It might not be as low as that, but obviously there's no unit exchange rate. But when you want to talk about unit exchange rate, obviously for production, for industrialization, you can give them some support and some concession.
All right then. What about the because we're talking about underemployment or non-employment but they're saying we will increase overall tax to GDP ratio. I mean GDP ratio to 15% from 6%. That's between 2017 and 2020.
2017 it was a negative GDP, about 1.70. It's a 1.7 negative. Then we want to move to 2 point something in 2017 or 2018. Is a tall order, but it is achievable. It is feasible.
How?
Only if you get access. Basically, all I've been telling you about, when we reduce importation, we export more, we support local industry, we support them financially, we support them structurally, we support them in terms of tax holiday, then we engage some bank that are marked for that purpose, like industrial bank, to give them loan at 0 or 2%. That will reduce. We are talking about inflation. You know, inflation today is about 15%.
Yes.
And they want to move to about 9% in 2019. If you don't do all those things, it will elude us, because inflation is not just written there. Inflation basically has to do with cost of production per se, because if the cost of production, cost of financing is on the ebb, is decreasing, obviously the output will be reduced, then Nigerians will buy. Then if the cost of the finished product, because of the finished product is cheap, Nigeria will buy at a lower rate, then inflation is reduced.
Do you think a tax collection will be raised to 350 billion per annum?
Obviously, they talk about two things. One is, which I rightly, is a combination or composition of two things. Number one, they talk about the VAT on luxury goods being moved from 5 to 15%. Yes. That's one of the aspects. The second has to do with improve company income tax. That one is still subjected to, is contentious, is subjected to a lot of argument, because if you are not supported, you have not given all those companies the desired environment to thrive. It's only when they make profit that you can tax it. And borders on that, first give incentives, make the environment very, very friendly. And it's only when that is done that you can talk. That is, I can contest that, but obviously it's predicated on the support of the federal government in terms of stability of monetary policy. You know, federal government policies over the time, I'm not talking about now from 2015, I'm proud to 2015, and when this government came in, especially fiscal and monetary policies has been inconsistent. You must make your policy to be very consistent. And it must be masses oriented.
Okay. And what about the one that I think is germane, really, because you mentioned that our refineries, the 4 of them, should be privatized.
Obviously.
And again, do you think, because they're saying we're going to be raising 35 billion naira from sale of national assets, which ones are top on your priority that should go first?
There are a lot of assets that are idle, do nothing.
Maribound.
You remember international trade fair there? National Stadium is very close to us there.
Even National Theatre also.
National Theatres, there are a lot of them all over the country.
But Lagos State wants to take over National Stadium now, right?
Yes.
So that's a good
support
development.
that, because we have all it takes to take care of it. Reason being that over the time, that place has been abandoned.
I tell you.
Neglected.
Do you know how much that thing will be? 15 years ago, that was when they played the last match. Do you know how much Nigeria could be making from that stadium?
Yeah, I imagine how much Nigeria would have taken, even for international friendlies.
Even
in hard currencies. Lagos...
And even the hotels around Surulere.
It would have aided the economy.
No.
And we are talking about Surulere that is akin to London of Lagos.
Yes,
everywhere was well lit. I am, the governor has gone for inspection, and I will admonish our governor to quickly go for it and close the deal. Ditto all other ones that they are revenue generating ventures that ordinarily could have given Nigeria more money. They should just let go. Then the enterprises, to a lot of them that are moribund, they are not thriving because they are not made to thrive. They are not made to make profits, and they are not made to break even.
Wow.
They are made to be a conduit pipe to siphon our money.
Money.
I'm talking about, you see, refineries ordinarily supposed to produce for local consumption. Even if we are going to subsidize local consumption, it's very simple. All over many countries today, there will be some product you produce for exportation.
Yes.
There will be some that be for local consumption, which you can subsidize, and that will not increase the price of refined product in Nigeria, even if it is privatized. But if it is privatized, all those leakages would have been nipped in the bud.
In the bud.
It will not even exist because it will be made to be efficient. No government parastatal or agency of government that is saddled with production that is efficient.
Wow.
They cannot be efficient because they are not made to be one, and they are not structured to be one. They are supposed to be restructured, not only privatizing all of them, even for the ones that are existing and they want to keep. They must restructure them for them to be efficient.
Wonderful. Honorable, we've almost, it's time, sir. I've said almost time. You see, within 1 hour, we've talked so much, and really appreciate you coming today. Honorable Rotimi Olowo of the Lagos State House of Assembly, and is the chairman of Committee of Budget and Economic Planning. Thank you so much for joining us again today. And that's it's my last episode today, really. I want to thank you all because
I heard about the news.
Yes,
it can be better, but you are going to.
Thank you so much.
Very much.
I'll be resuming.
You have been a reliable.
Thank you so much.
A very hard-working friend of mine.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. You have come up with a lot of innovations. Even in the tube, we know you. If anybody says that, they will say, is it that for TVC or others?
Thank you so much.
Where you are going, God will protect
Amen.
you. And I hope one of these days we meet at higher
level. Thank you so much. I'll be resuming job as a press secretary to Arakunrin Akeredolu on Monday. So thank you.
I will come to you to come and see one of these
Thank you so much. And we want to apologize. The phone lines, we had technical issues. Hopefully next week they will be back. And thanks for being part of the program today. Let's do it again next week, maybe with somebody else.
Obviously,
My name is Dakpo Arua Joy. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.